Welcome back. Some breaking news coming in. Well, India and the US are on the verge of sealing their much-awaited trade agreement. US Ambassador to India, Sergio Gor, has said that the deal is almost complete in principle, with negotiators now down to the finer points and print, ironing out legal and technical language. Gor has said that the two sides have settled almost everything and what remains is largely about reconfiguring the text. He also flagged the stepped-up American engagement with India, pointing to back-to-back visits by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Gor pointed to increased engagement between the two countries as evidence of Washington's focus on India. Atul Ranjan, my colleague, joins us on the broadcast to give us more details about this. Atul, this is obviously great news coming in.
Well, certainly, U.S. Ambassador to India, Sergio Gor, has made quite an interesting statement. And given the fact that, both the countries had their discussions and larger framework agreed prior as well. But what we used to hear, in the previous month was that, the last 1% is where the two countries have disagreements upon. But now what we get to understand from Sergio Gor is quite a different statement. In fact, the words that he used was that both the countries are figuring out the reconfiguring the legal wordings of the trade agreement. So that indicates that the agreements and all the previous disagreement between the two nations regarding the terms of the trade deal, that seems to have been finalized. That seems to have been agreed. All the differences seems to have been ironed out, because remember, India had their objections regarding when it comes to imports, when it comes to fields like dairy as well as agriculture. Also, India had this demand of having this import duty being imposed, which is at par with some of the South Asian neighbors and not more than those of the South Asian neighbors. So all of those seems to have been agreed upon by the India-US, and now what we're given to understand from Sergio Gor is that both the nations have finally agreed upon a trade deal. Now what we
finally agreed upon a trade deal. Now, what is also interesting is the fact that he was also asked about the pending sort of 100% duties that was being imposed on certain countries that sort of were trading with Russia. Now, that to that certain Sergio Gor seems to have dodged that question by saying that the U.S. Senate has sort of bipartisan support to that particular bill that have been imposed, that have been brought in the U.S. Senate, and that the White House so far has not had anything to say on that. But certainly he did not sort of mention it clearly that India would be exempted from those sort of 100% duty that would be imposed. So certainly that would be quite interesting to see, given the fact that one side there is an agreement on the trade deal, but certainly there's a different danger of 100% duties being imposed on trading partners of Russia, which one of them India also is.
Atul, stay with us. Some more breaking news coming in.